Hi guys, today we are going to learn about one important file in Terraform, that is Terraform Statefile. So whenever we deploy our resources using Terraform, there will be one file created. That file is nothing but terraform.tfstate. So what is the importance of this Terraform Statefile? Generally, Statefile will tracks all the resources we created via Terraform, and it will store current values of all the resources. So you can see all the values here, like VPC name, then the resources. The resources type is nothing but Google Compute Network. That is nothing but our VPC. Then the number of instances. Those things we will get the details in this particular Terraform state file. So Terraform will use this particular state file to detect the changes during the Terraform plan or Terraform apply. So this file is very important. If you lost this file, we can't track any changes that we have done using the Terraform. This file will be generated by default in your project folder only. But as long as this file is in local, it is easy to lose, right? We might accidentally delete this file. And in real world production projects, multiple members will manage your infra. And those users will have their own Terraform project folder in their local machine. And if multiple users run Terraform apply, then that will cause us conflict. That's why we moved this Terraform TF state file into a remote backend. So remote backend is a central location and it can be shared across multiple users. That's where we store our Terraform TF state file. There are multiple options to use as a remote backend. For example, you can use Terraform Cloud itself, or if you are using any other cloud services, you can use AWS S3 or Azure Blob Storage, or you can use GCP GCS. Now my infra is in GCP, that's why I'm using Google Cloud Storage, that is GCS. So first we have to create the GCS storage. For that I am going to run command gcloud storage buckets create. I'm going to create a bucket with the name Terraform State Demo Bucket. And the storage class is standard and the location is US Central 1. Let's run this now. I got an error like gcloud storage only accepts the URLs, not in the this format. Let me change that now. I have changed that. Let's run this now. So now it is creating my bucket. Also one more thing, this Terraform TF state will track our versions also. So we have to enable the versioning for our bucket. So I can enable versioning for my bucket using gcloud update command. Let's run this now. So versioning is enabled now. Now my backend is ready. Now I can use that backend in my Terraform. For backend, I can create a separate file called as backend.tf, or I can define backend in main.tf file also. I'm going to create a separate file called as backend.tf now. So I created a backend.tf file now, and let me add the content for this file now. For backend, I can define like this. So backend, then the backend I am going to use GCS. Then the bucket name that I have created, that is Terraform State Demo Bucket. And the prefix is nothing but the path in that particular file path where I am going to store my Terraform State file. Now the prefix is Terraform/state. So this Terraform.tf state file is going to store in this particular state folder. Let me save this file now. Then to apply this backend changes, I have to run Terraform init command once. So I can run Terraform init now. So it starts initializing the backend, but it got an error like could not find default credentials. For this backend storage bucket, it could not find the credentials to upload this Terraform state file. For that, I can create an environment variables called as Google application credentials, and I'm going to use this GCP niftyk.json my service principal credential. I'm using CMD, that's why I'm using set command. Otherwise, we can use export or any other command also. Now let me again run Terraform init. So now we can see initial in the backend acquiring the state lock, and it gives the warning like pre-existing state was found while migrating the previous local backend to the newly configured GCS backend. Also it says no existing state was found in the newly configured GCS backend. That means there is no TF state file in my newly created bucket. Also it asks, do you want to copy this state to the newly configured GCS backend? If I enter yes, it will copy my existing backend file to my bucket. Otherwise it will start with an empty state. So let me enter yes now. So this is done now. I can see the message like successfully configured the backend GCS. Terraform will automatically use this backend unless the backend configuration changes. Now in GCP, I can search for GCS, and if I go to buckets, I have the one bucket here, Terraform State Demo Bucket. And if I go inside that bucket, I have a folder Terraform, and inside that I have a folder called a state, and inside that state folder, I have the TF state file here. And if I go to version history here, also I can see two versions here, and also I can see the comment like live object here. That means it is the current version. Now I can make some changes to my main.tf file or any other file, and let's apply those changes. Let me change my subnet name to demo subnet 2, and let's save this file now. Now I can run Terraform init. So it says Terraform has been successfully initialized. Now I can run Terraform plan. Now we can see there will be one add and one to destroy, means one subnet will be deleted, that is demo subnet, and it will create a new subnet called as demo subnet 2 now. Now I can run Terraform apply. Here you can see acquiring the state lock first. It will check the my terraform.tf state file from the backend first. Now I can approve this using yes. So this is done now. And if I check my GCP, and if I go to my VPC, that is Terraform VPC demo, and if I go to subnets here, I can see the subnet here, demo subnet 2. That earlier subnet is deleted and the new subnet is created, that is demo subnet 2. And if I go back to my GCS and if I check my bucket and if I go to my tf state file and if I check version history now, here after I run Terraform apply, I can see the additional entry here. And for example, multiple users are contributing to this particular project. Then all those users will refer this the tf state file only. That's how you can avoid the conflicts. So this tf state file is very, very important. Make sure that is not corrupted. So that's it from today. Subscribe and check out other videos too.